The Bully Girl Magazine podcast is your dog-eared audio destination, bookmarking the most compelling tales and insights from the vast canine universe. While we passionately dive into the world of bully breeds, dispelling myths, offering training tips, and discussing breed standards, our scope isn't limited. We cast our net wide to encompass a diverse range of dog breeds, ensuring no tale is left untold. Enhanced by expert interviews and inspiring stories, this podcast is a beacon for responsible ownership and breed education. It's where bully breed enthusiasts meet the broader dog-loving community, fostering unity, understanding, and shared joy in every bark and wag. So whether you're out walking your dog or listening at home, be sure to enjoy the show and keep coming back. Hi, I'm Lisa Davis. So glad you are listening or watching the Bully Girl Magazine podcast. Joining us today is Jarett Garcia, the proud owner and breeder of Immense Bullz Kennel, located in Whittier, California. Jarett specializes in breeding XL and XXL American bullies. Jarett, welcome to the Bully Girl Magazine podcast.
Hey, thank you guys for having us on.
Oh, it's so good to see you. Oh my goodness. Okay, who is that gorgeous, gorgeous puppy?
Yeah, so this one, he's 6 weeks old. We don't have a name quite figured out yet, but we're pushing towards one of the names from Wakanda Forever.
Nice.
And the name is Chalia.
Ooh, Chalia, I love
So
that.
that's what we're pushing for. But it is a boy. He's 6 weeks old.
Oh.
He's off of our male with an in-house breeding, Roscoe.
Oh, right.
And Roscoe ran to Fiona. So we mixed two really good bloodlines, two really good pedigrees. Unfortunately, we didn't have a big litter. She had two pups. That's all she gave us this time around. This was her first breeding.
Yeah.
And so this here is first pick and only pick. So we're going to hold on to him. He's staying in-house.
Okay.
He likes to chew on fingers.
Oh my God, so cute.
But yeah, he has beautiful markings, beautiful temperament. I think he's going to be huge.
Oh, I bet. How old is he again?
Oh, he's 6 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
6 weeks. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, we're going to give him his first vaccine today.
Nice.
As soon as we're done here, we're going to the vet and we'll get him his first round of shots.
Nice.
And
he's beautiful.
So we're here to show him off a little bit today.
Yeah, please do.
Let you guys check him out and kind of see what we do.
We love it. So, Jarett, I always ask each guest the same first two questions. Now, the second one is two parts, but the first one is, does your dog, and this could be any of your dogs, do something funny, quirky, unusual that makes you smile?
You know what? One of my favorites, and it's hard for me because they're all my favorites.
Yeah.
But this one kind of holds a special place in my heart. From the day she came out, she had the most beautiful eyes. She was just jaw dropping to me, and I ended up naming her after my mother. My mother passed away 10 years ago. Today would have been my mom's 72nd birthday. She passed away at 61 from a pancreatic cancer. And but I had always told my mom, I said, if I ever have a daughter, I'm going to name her after you. And she liked the idea, but unfortunately, I had two boys. So, I never got to have a daughter for her. But that female she's so attached to me. I take the family out and, we take the dogs out for a walk at the local park or at the middle school down the street. And she will not leave my side, even whether it's on a leash or off of a leash. If I don't go, she's not going. But she's very observant. She's always looking to see where I'm at. Anytime that I go to fill up her water bucket, she goes in between my legs and will sit there waiting to try to lick my face as I'm giving her water. Tail wagging the whole time. But she's all about me. And,
nice.
I love her to death. But like I said, it's hard for me to say I have a favorite because I love them all.
Yes.
Each one of them has a special place in my heart. So
now, what is her name?
Her name is Dolly.
Dolly. That's such a pretty name. I was so saddened to read in the article in the blog post on bgmwarehouse.com that you lost your mother, your wife, and your father. And then
I lost them all pretty close to each other within less than a couple of years. And that's kind of how I got started back up into dogs again. So I've been breeding since 2007. And back then it was pit bulls. It wasn't XL bullies.
I love pit bulls.
And I started breeding pit bulls back then. And then I was forced to move from where I was at and couldn't have dogs no longer. So, I was getting in trouble with the landlord. Hey, why do you have puppies here? And do you have animals here? What's going on? So I had to keep them at my mother's house. And so it was hard. My mom was like, hey, you have too many dogs. I need you to slow down. So um, I I stopped for for a good few years, and I started back up in 2016. 2016, I started back up. Um, at the time, my father had just passed away in 2016. My wife passed in 2015, and my mom in 2013. But the time the dog that my dad had bought for my boys, was a little mini dachshund, and beautiful dog. And the kids love the dog. The dog would play with my youngest in the front yard and chase bubbles. He had a little bubble maker, chase the bubbles. And one day we came outside, and when I got home from work, and I was looking for the dog, and I saw her laying there dead. So what happened to her?
Oh my God.
I
Horrible.
really don't know. It was a nice day, beautiful weather. It wasn't too hot, but I found her laying dead, and
Mm,
um, that broke my kids' hearts.
of course.
My kids, they've had enough losses as it is, and then they see, their dog that my dad left for them, sitting there laying dead, and they cried their eyes out for weeks. And
Oh, I'm
I said, you know what,
sure.
I can't replace a dog, but let me try to get something else to try to keep them busy and something they can grow up with. And so I got my first XL bully, and from there it was something that I fell in love with the breed. Um, and we had our first litter, and I noticed how much it helped my boys take their mind off of what they were going through.
Yeah.
This guy went to sleep on me here. So, but yeah, it really helped my boys take their mind off of all the
Mm,
trauma that they were going through and all
right.
the losses that they had been through. And I seen the joy through their eyes. Um, my house kind of became like the neighborhood house. So all the
Yeah.
little kids in the neighborhood say, "Hey, Mr. Garcia, can I see your puppies?" So they all come here, and I'll let a few puppies out at a time once they've had their shots. And
Yeah.
the kids in the neighborhood, they acclimate the puppies to people and the kids,
That's great.
and to get them socialized, and so it's a win-win.
Yeah.
The kids have a great time in the neighborhood. My kids love it, and I'm doing something that I love to do. I don't do this to chase fame, fortune, or money. It's more or less a passion of mine. It's I'm always looking to create a better version,
Yeah.
more correct, you know, and the colors and all that came with time.
Mm.
There's a lot of people that chase it right after, right out the gate. And for me, it's something that I had started adding in the last few years. But for me, I wouldn't give it up for anything in the world.
No, I bet. I mean, dogs are so therapeutic. And I think I can't even imagine. I shared this, I believe, on another show, so I'll keep it brief. But when I was 28, my mom died, and then my grandfather died, who I was really close to, and then a 7-year relationship broke up, and I didn't have a dog. And I think how much better it would have been for me. I mean, those traumas were terrible; those losses are huge. I still live with them. Not so much the boyfriend. We actually are friends, and it's fine.
Yeah.
I've been married almost 25 years, and I love my husband. But the loss of my mother and my grandfather, if I had had a dog, and I can't even imagine not only having a dog, but then breeding dogs and being surrounded by puppies. And what a joy for your boys during such a
Oh yeah.
traumatic time.
You know what? Dogs can really it's like they have a sense.
Yeah.
And not only are they therapeutic, but for me, like I've noticed that my dogs seem to know when I'm going through things.
Hmm.
There's days still till today. My wife's been gone for 9 years now, and my parents, have been gone for a while.
Yeah.
And the dogs will come in the house, or I'll be sitting in the backyard with them or whatnot, and they'll look at me like as if they know that I'm going through a sad time or whatever, and
Yeah.
they'll just climb up on my lap and put their head on my shoulder. And so when you ask about quirky things or special things they do,
Yeah.
I've had a few dogs do that. It's like they
Hmm.
understand without talking to you.
Yeah.
They just happen to know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, no, they definitely got me through a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because my pit bull Blue is super affectionate. He's always on me, But if I'm upset, he kind of doesn't really read it. Yet my lab, he'll come over and start licking my face, and he's not cuddly. He'll maybe cuddle once a month with us. But my daughter's girlfriend was upset the other day, and she was upset about something. And Blue walks away, and Benji's just up on her, sitting on her, kissing her. And I'm like, this is so weird because I thought it would be the other way around. But
Yeah.
every dog's different, right?
Yeah. You know what? For me, I noticed that my females are really clingy to me.
Yeah,
Uh, my males are a little bit different. They love me, they'll come up and greet me and
yeah.
want to get home, but they're a little bit different.
Mhm.
My males want to play. So for them, they want to pee on a tree, they want to chase a ball, they want to hang from the rope, they want to play with the the flirt pole.
Yeah.
The females just want to be next to me. That's all they want to do is just be by me.
Mm.
And they're very very clingy. They're very clingy to me, but for me, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's funny. I've never had a female dog before. I've had 5 male dogs. And it's not even like I plan it that way. It just kind of turns out that way. So I'll have to see maybe in the future. Now, I understand that your dogs can be found all over the world from the US, excuse me, to the obviously US, United Kingdom to the Bahamas, Sweden, Albania. Talk to us about this.
Oh yeah, and, you know what? Yeah, like I said, this is something that I started this as I started breeding full time.
Yeah.
I worked a job for many years, and they relocated, which was nearby. It was in Downey, which was maybe 30 minutes from my house, and then they shut the location down and they tried to relocate me to Sylmar, which was taking me 2 hours to get there and 3 hours to get home. But I started
Oh
work
my
at 6 in the morning,
gosh. Mm.
and it was hard on my boys because I was waking them up at 3:30 in the morning to drop them off by 4 so I can get there by 6.
Oh, wow.
Well, I get off at 2 if I get relieved at 2, and I hope to be home by 5:30, which is still early, but to the kids, it seems like it's midnight for them because they've been up so early. So
Yeah.
in school, I was getting calls from their teacher, and they're like, "Hey, is everything all right at home?" And I didn't really know what to tell them. I said, "Well, I mean, if things are as good as they can be. Um, what seems to be the problem? Well, the kids are falling asleep during the class,
That's what I was going to
and
suggest.
yeah, so I would bring them home, from the family friend who was help watching them. She was elderly and was having health problems of herself, and I'm just like, I
Mm.
had so much stress on my plate, and so how am I going to make this work? Um, and so not to get super religious, but I put it up to God. I owe everything to Him,
Mm.
um, and all my glory goes to God. But I put it in his inside His hands, and I asked the job if they could help, and they pretty much said they couldn't help me, and so I started breeding full time. And I was doing what I love to do. And I said, I'm not going to worry. The birds don't worry. The lilies don't worry. So why should I? And one of these things where I started getting calls and inquiries and messages from out of the country and out of state, and I started shipping dogs all over the world. And you know, to me, it's that's a great joy. It's a great pleasure seeing them thrive. Um, everywhere. And I can say that there's been a small piece of me because with every one of these dogs that leaves me, trust me, I shed a tear.
I'm
Everyone
sure.
that leaves, it's hard for me to say goodbye to them when they leave because sometimes the mother won't take to a pup, or I've had a few that I've saved where they come out not breathing, and I've done CPR to the pups, and I'm sitting there breathing in their mouth and trying to pump on their chest with just 2 fingers, just and I've actually brought a few back, and there's been some that hasn't made it, and it's really really rough for people that think it's easy. It's not.
Yes. That's what I'm
You know what?
learning.
It's a lot of work to breed. It is a full time job. Like you know, um, so Dolly's litter. Her mom is Miss Platinum, and Miss Platinum had her litter almost about 2 years old.
Hmm.
So she wasn't young, but she wasn't
Yeah.
ripe old age either. But she rejected her pups. She didn't want anything to do with her pups. She had an 8 pup litter, and I was down to 3 overnight. She didn't show any signs for the first 3 4 days. She was an excellent mother,
Mm.
and then I caught her trying to like snuff out her puppy. She was sitting on top of him trying to take him out. And so I said, hey, I know I'm going to be in for a rough ride. So let me get the, feeding syringes and, I have the a miracle nipple, they call them.
Yeah.
And, I'm getting out the colostrum and getting, formula, supplemental formula, and mixing it every 2 hours, feed him every 2 hours. And, I had to actually take mom out of the kennel. Um, and so those three pups have a really big bond with me.
I bet.
Uh, more than the other pups, just because I was hand feeding them. You're waking up at midnight, 3 in the
Yeah.
morning, 5 in the morning. And so it's like there is no sleep. It's like
Yeah.
having children all over again.
Yep.
And I think maybe that's why Dolly's so attached to me. Her illiterate brother, his name is Charlie Hustle. So I don't know if you've
Love
seen
it.
his pictures.
Yes.
Charlie is an absolute tank.
Hmm.
Very short, very stocky, wide, big neck, huge rear. He's going to be a big up and comer.
Nice.
And so they're about to turn 2 years old, November 27th.
Cool.
So next month they turn 2 years old. So you'll start seeing them a little bit more.
Nice.
And but yeah, for me right now, I'm not in a hurry to breed Dolly. I take my time, and
Yeah.
but she'll be coming up probably in March. I'm going to look to breed her,
Cool.
and so I'm excited to see what I get off of her.
Yeah, me too. Is
Yeah,
there science behind why that happens sometimes? It makes me wonder if there's postpartum depression in dogs,
you
or
know what?
what is it?
And you know what? And that's something that I've actually discussed. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, I'm not a psychologist for animals or anything, but it almost seemed like postpartum depression.
Yeah,
And
that's what it sounds like.
you know what? You hear stories of mothers going through that. Where they'll actually have babies and totally reject babies,
Yeah.
especially if they're young mothers.
Hmm.
You hear about teenagers inside high school or whatnot, young, and they get pregnant at an early age, and they kind of like reject the fact that they're a mother, and so then the grandmother ends up being the mother,
Right.
basically inside a way. And I'm sure that's been the story for a lot of people. Um, but there was no grandmother here to kind of whelp these pups, so it was me. I guess I was the grandmother. But yeah, it is very similar to that. I would say
Yeah.
her second litter. I was hesitant on breeding her again,
Mm.
but her second litter, she was a model citizen as a mother. She was perfect,
Oh, wow. So
and
interesting.
so you know I guess it's either good or bad, and sometimes you don't know. Maybe she was just too young.
Yeah,
You know,
maybe.
um, she had already had 3 heats. She was over a year she was over a year and a half. She was closer to 2 years old when I bred her, but perhaps maybe some dogs mature differently,
Hmm.
and maybe she just wasn't ready and she was over it and like, hey, I don't want these dogs. I don't want this
Yeah.
responsibility, so I'm going to take them out. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I was heartbroken to see those 5 pups there. Not breathing. That's what I'm saying. Breeding does take its toll on you. It's hard to see stuff like that.
oh, I'm sure. How do you take care of yourself, like emotionally, to, when things like that happen? To, like
Well,
self-care and things like that
you
to help
know,
yourself.
it's one of those things where you realize that everything happens for a reason.
Okay.
It's at my mindset. That's how I kind of put it, and I say that that he makes no mistakes.
Mm.
So like this one here, I was pretty sad to see his illiterate brother passed away. And another beautiful dog, same color, chocolate trimerle, beautiful markings, nice tan points, and so he made it. I think 3 weeks,
Okay.
and which to me, if you make it past the first week, I mean, I wouldn't say you're out of the clear,
Right.
but that first week is pretty crucial.
Yes.
And once you make it after the first week, it seems like it's a downhill ride, but I wasn't expecting for us to lose him.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but so what? But I'm happy we got to salvage this guy.
He
We
is
still have
gorgeous.
him, and you can see him. He's stubborn. He's knocked out here. He don't even want to open his eyes here.
Well, good, because I just could look at him forever. It's
All
just
right.
so incredibly sweet. Now, talk to us about the health testing that you do.
So my health testing, I usually go through a company called Embark.
Hmm.
I'm not not that I get paid to mention them or anything. You know, I
Oh,
don't.
no, it's very I've heard
But
about them a
I'm sure
lot.
a lot of people use different
Yeah,
places. I've used UC Davis,
nice.
which has a huge you know pet and animal program there, a veterinary program, comparable to like Texas A&M.
Nice.
Um, but they're here on the West Coast, so that's a UC Davis. So I've used them before. The reason I started using Embark in like the last 3-4 years, and that's something you can get relatively cheap. And so they run a lot of different tests. So they'll test for if there's any type of you know issues that would be carried over. Was it CR4D or CD4R, whatever it is?
It sounds familiar.
I get confused on it, but that
Me
one is
too.
the one where they test for a premature vision loss in
Oh,
dogs. So if a dog is a carrier, obviously you don't want to breed to another carrier. You're going to have certain defects. Like with Merle, Merle's something that started within the last couple of years. You've seen Merle pop up,
mm,
and it's been pretty popular. Um, but a lot of people don't know that you can't breed Merle to Merle. If you breed a Merle to Merle, you're going to have the possibility of dogs coming out blind and deaf.
wow.
So, uh, although Merle looks beautiful, like I said, it's a beautiful color. It's something you're gonna. This guy's gonna have to go to solid or tries.
Yeah.
He's not gonna go to another Merle.
Yeah, it's so
So
helpful to know that
yeah,
information.
but these are things that you kind of look for different traits, and uh, you, for me, I don't really do breedings that are just random. Everything's planned. Um, some people say I'm kind of like a mad scientist. So what you're seeing behind me is my little lab here.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
I have all my dog supplements, and you know what? This is my little workshop area where I do my thing. I have a pet scale, and I have a bunch of different stuff for whelping litters and whatnot. And so a lot of the stuff that that we're talking about goes down in here.
Oh, nice. So,
Yeah.
you mentioned supplements. What do you feed your dogs and puppies?
You know what? Most of my dogs, believe it or not, are off of just regular dry dog food.
Mm.
I do mix in raw, but I only give them raw rarely, maybe once a week.
Oh, okay.
So they don't get raw a lot. Raw is more of a treat for them. But like I said, for me, mostly I'm giving them dry dog food right now. I have them on Diamond chicken and rice, Diamond Naturals, excuse me. But I've tried pretty much every different food out there, and to me, they're all the same. I don't notice a big difference, to be honest with you.
Mm,
You'll see different price lines,
right.
but are you going to see a big result? On your dog. The dog going to gain that much more muscle mass or better coat? Well, maybe not. Um,
Oh my
oh
gosh,
yeah,
sorry, that yawn was
yeah.
everything.
I got the puppy breath right now. So yeah, I got a whiff of it. I love that
Woo!
smell.
Nothing like it, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So, but yeah, I've tried different brands. I know that Victor just had a recall.
oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, I just heard about a recall that Victor had. At one time, I was using that. I was using what was I using? Nutrisource, but Nutrisource is very good. I liked it when I had it. Um, but my stool started getting a little too watery with it. I didn't
Mm.
like it. I think they changed formula. I've tried Taste of the Wild. I've tried, you name it. I've tried it. Sport Mix was another one, and they had a recall on that one. I guess they had mold inside their silo or something like that,
Oh,
allegedly. And so it was hard to find it. And so you're always trying different stuff. Which kind of sucks because you kind of want to stay on one program.
yeah.
But I'm always looking for something that's better, something that they eat, something that they like, something that gives a better coat, something that keeps them full.
Right.
You know what? There's some foods that you notice that when you feed it to them, that the dogs will have a ton of poop, so they're pooping a bunch, but you don't really see them holding any weight. And then I see
Mm,
other ones that
interesting.
seem to absorb maybe a little bit better. So, all right, baby, how are you?
Oh,
You know what? This guy's eyes have stayed blue since
I was
day
about
one. So
to
I think his eyes
say,
will be. You might be able to see his
let me
eyes here.
see. Yeah, I was
Let's see if you
thinking
can
that.
see him.
Oh, okay. Now for the rest of the show, you just got to put him right in the middle and just keep
There
him
you
there.
go. You see that? Yeah. So, but
Oh,
yeah,
and
his
you're
dad.
keeping him, right? Because I'm like,
Yeah, we're gonna keep him around. Yeah, so he'll be
okay,
with the program. Um, Probably won't do any breedings with him until he's after a year old.
okay.
But I mean, if people want to start locking him in, we'll probably open them up around 10 months and start taking deposits if people want to use him to stud. But his dad, he was at 165 pounds at Cinco show. I think it was 165. Is that where he was at? And then I have another dog with me today, Mbaku. So Mbaku is a black tri. He's
Mm.
176 pounds. Um, and he just keeps getting bigger and bigger. He has 28-inch head. Um, and you know what? When I walked to the Cinco show, so Cinco show out here is very big.
Hmm.
A Cinco de Mayo, which is May 5th.
Yes.
And it's not always on May 5th. It may fall on the weekend or whatever. It might be May 8th or 7th, whatever day it falls on. But they usually have a very big show, and it's predominantly XL bully.
Nice.
And so we were out there, and every time I walk my dogs around, people say, "You know what? Hey man, I see that your kennel's name is immense. So you guys are not only just in word, like I said, no, I mean, this is the way of life. This is how we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a 6'7" guy. I'm not a small guy by any means, and
You're
you know what? Neither are my
6'7"?
dogs. Yeah.
Okay,
So
you need to come sometime and stand next to me because I'm 5'10" and I never feel short unless I see like a giant person.
yeah. So, but yeah, we have some big dogs. Um, Roscoe is the dad for him. So Roscoe, I produced Roscoe here off of Queen Kodiak and Red Rum, which works for two of my dogs. And I did an in-house breeding. I created him, and Roscoe has one bright blue eye, and the other one's gold.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he's humongous. He is a big boy. He's to me, I think he's the biggest Merle out there. I haven't seen a bigger Merle, so if somebody has one, please let me know. But he is big, and so we have him open. We have Mbaku's ready to work. We have him. He's 2 years old as well. I have a few dogs. That Charlie Hustle, he's ready to work.
Mm.
He'll be 2 years old.
I love that
And
name.
oh yeah, you know what? Well, Charlie Hustle, I call him Hus, or I call him Hustle. But
Yeah.
Charlie Hustle's after Pete Rose.
Ah,
Uh,
okay.
Pete Rose, a baseball player. So I'm a huge
Mhm.
baseball fan, and Pete Rose is known for just hustling.
Right.
You never saw Pete Rose walk off the baseball field. He was always running.
Yeah.
He was always working. He was always diving headfirst, sliding, and he gave his all. And so this is Dolly's brother that we're talking about, Hustle,
Okay.
and he is very super attached to me. Same thing. And but like I said, it was he's one of the three pups that I was hand feeding day and night.
Oh,
And oh my God, I tell you, you would never know that he was pushed aside by his mom. He is big. He is stocky. I have a feeling this guy's going to be big.
yeah.
Looking at his rear, looking at
Yeah.
his top line earlier on, I'm like, yeah, he's
How old
going to
is
be
he
thick.
again? He's beautiful.
6 weeks.
Oh my God. Yeah, he's gonna be big.
So yeah, we have a lot of time with him.
Yeah, you
You have an
do.
eternity of time. Now, you know what? We'll probably have his ears done. I know some people don't believe in that. For me, I like to get their ears cropped, but I think it'll, for me, I like ear cropping. It's easier for me to get their ears clean.
Yeah.
My dogs have less ear infections. So it just,
Yeah.
to me, it's not only a cosmetic deal,
Right.
but to me, it's something you have to do when the dog's young. So if the dog's 6 to 8
Yes.
weeks, I would do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it.
No, I
You know?
appreciate that. I mean, I think it's up to the individual. I personally like the looks of ears better,
Yeah.
but it's all an individual preference, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, yeah, I hear both ends, and you know what? Truth is, there is no wrong answer.
Sure.
It's all preference
Yeah.
on, from a show standpoint. I think they look cleaner from a show standpoint.
Right.
If you're showing your dogs, they just look cleaner. But like I said, it's preference.
Yeah.
If it was a pet home dog, and I wasn't worried about showing, absolutely, I would 100% keep the ears.
Yeah. I love
They
Blue's
don't
ears.
bother me at all.
I'm always petting on
Right?
them. No, I think it's great. And I think it's important, like you said, to do it young. You don't want to do it to an older dog. It's a
Yeah,
lot
it'd be too
more difficult.
traumatizing for an older dog. It's I compare it. People say, well, why would you do that to a dog? I said, not to sound gross, but I mean, why do they circumcise babies? I mean,
Right?
that's supposed to be cleaner or whatever the doctors tell you.
Yeah, that's a good
I
point.
guess at some point it started based off of somebody's religion.
Right.
and what their beliefs were. But at the end of the day, people don't really do circumcisions to adults. You know what I mean? You don't do them
Right.
to somebody who's 5 years old. You do them
Oh
when
God,
the
I hope
baby's
not.
two
Yes.
days old or a day old,
Yeah.
and you put them through the very least that you have to put them through.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, he's gonna be cute no matter what. I mean, he's
Oh yeah, he's gonna be
come
beautiful.
on.
He already is. I love him.
He is
So
so beautiful.
yeah, you know what? I give a lot of credit to my partner over here, Jamil. He's over. I'll let you guys say hi to him in a little bit.
Yeah.
I give a lot of credit to my kids, and you know, there's a lot of kennels that I've worked with throughout the years that through doing dogs, it wasn't just business. It's there's friendships that I've gained
That's
that
great.
I couldn't put a price on. It's got a buddy of mine. He's out in Pearland, Texas. His name is Chris. He's from All Star Bullies
Mm.
or All Star Kennels.
Yeah.
He does Frenchies and he does XL Bullies. And I've been to his house and we've hung out. Very good guy. I tease him all the time. I say that when I do get an interview like this, I'm not going to mention your kennel. I'm going to say some kennel. So, but yeah, there's a good friend of mine. His name
Love
is
it.
Chris. Uh, what I've actually gave a lot of other kennels foundational pups that they started their
Nice.
kennels with. Solid quality productions. They're in St. Louis, Missouri. I got Ink Junkie Bullies,
Mm.
the Woods Kennel, South Bay's Finest. There's been a lot of different kennels that have got dogs from me that they started off looking for a foundational piece, and I
Yeah.
sent them one of my really good pups, and it's definitely helped put them on the map. So
Awesome.
but it's nice being able to catch up with them, see dogs that I've had here grow, see them have puppies of their own,
Yeah.
and what it's me. That's what it's about.
Mhm.
It's not. There's a lot of people that breed that act like they can't be your friend,
Hmm. That's
or that
too
there's
bad.
competition, and you know what? Really, realistically, I mean, for me, I don't worry about what other people are doing. I try to help everybody. And if they call me and they have questions, hey, what should I do with this? Or, because they don't have experience, and I'm always the first one to help.
Yeah.
I give advice, and, because at some point somebody's giving me advice,
Right. That's so important.
so it's something where, each one teach one, and, you try to make the world a better place.
Oh, you are awesome, Jed. I love what you're saying. Now, do you ever get people like me who just want a puppy for a pet? Because I want your
Yeah,
puppy.
I get them all the time. You know what? I get people that want them as a pet. Obviously,
Yeah,
they have
walk
pet
us through
homes.
the whole process of doing that.
Yeah. So if I notice, if a dog has a defect, or if a dog does come out, they health test and it has an issue or whatnot, that dog I will not sell with breeding rights, because
Right.
the goal is to try to eliminate that issue from trying to recreate.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for the sake of the dogs, for them to have healthier pups, and for them to be better as a breed,
Yeah.
and not only that, but for me to put my kennel name on it, you know what I mean. I want to be able to, to provide the very best that I can, the very best quality pup
Right.
that I can. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so, um, but I do sell pet homes here and there to people that are looking just for a great pet.
Mm-hmm.
But there are breeders that that want a first pick or a second pick, or you know,
Yeah.
and so both of them will be available.
Nice.
Um, and like I said, we offer stud services. I have puppies. Right now, the puppies, I'm slowing down a little bit for the holidays. Like I said, I've been busy with work on the other end
Yeah.
with real estate, so
Oh,
I try to slow
cool.
down a little bit because I know I won't have as much time to breed. But that's why I know in the spring, come February, March, I should have two or three breeds coming.
Oh,
So it should be a busy time for me.
oh, that's great. Now, do you go to the show? You mentioned shows, right?
Yeah, yeah. You know what? If I tend to go to shows, the one that I make sure that I always go to, not that I got it, not that I have anything against Frenchies or micros or anything like that. To me, they're all part of the bully breed, so
Right.
I enjoy them. But I always make sure I go to the Cinco de Mayo show
Yes,
because
that's
it's
one you mentioned.
because
Yeah,
it's
that's great.
exclusively XL bully.
Oh, I love
So
that.
that one I go to every year. There's other ones that are local. I haven't really been out of state to go into the big out of state shows, which I'd love to do. I just can't find the time having two boys and
Of
for
course.
managing sports and puppies and litters, and it's hard for me to get out. So
Yeah.
one of the things that I try to do is take a lot of precaution. I try to be proactive rather than reactive. And so anytime that I go to a show or I leave my house, if I come home, I change my shoes. And I try not to bring or take dogs anywhere that could possibly have parvo or anything like that. Because when you want puppies, or when you're breeding puppies, the last thing you want to do is to bring that home.
Right.
That can be devastating. You have people that put their heart and soul into their litters, and then all of a sudden, you have your entire litter wiped out
Oh,
because they
that's
all
horrible.
contracted parvo. So for me, luckily, I've managed to stay away from that. Knock on wood. But a lot of stories that you do hear about that. So
Mm,
for me, I prefer not to take my puppies out of the house until they've been fully
that is
vaccinated.
really smart. God, the way he's
So,
cuddled into the crook of your elbow
oh
right
yeah, he's
now
comfortable.
is so precious. He
Yeah, no,
really
he's
is
chilling over
stunning.
here.
He is so beautiful. Now,
Thank you.
you had mentioned your friend Chris with, what is it, All Star Bullies? Or is there anyone else that you look up to in the bully world?
You know what? There's a lot of people I look up to. Like I said, I mean, I don't really talk to them much. I mean, obviously, Bossy Kennels played a big part of what people do in the XL world right now. Um, Not saying that they started it or anything like that, but I think to me, she's a very good businesswoman,
Mm,
and she knows how to market.
nice.
Uh, she definitely does. So I can definitely respect that. I don't deal with them too often one on one. I've had conversations, but for me, All Star Kennels, Chris Lee, I got different partners that I have dogs co-owned with. Uh, my buddy Rob and his lady Tara, they're over at Ink Junkie Bullies, and so he's one of these guys that he started off going viral on
Mhm.
internet videos,
Oh,
and
wow.
so him and I actually had mutual friends, and we've been cool with each other ever since.
Oh, nice.
And in order for me to call a dog out with somebody, I mean, I really have to trust you.
Yeah,
I won't just put a dog inside somebody's hands and say, hey, I trust him.
good.
I have to really get to know you. So he's a really good guy. I have a lot of people that my buddy Brandon. Uh, Brandon's, he goes to shows with me. Jamil, my buddy Jamil, he'll go to shows with me, and so they're always there to help. They're always representing with me, and to me, I look at them as silent partners. We go everywhere,
Nice.
and it's to me, it's like more of a family thing. They'll bring their kids,
Oh,
I bring my kids.
that's
They
great.
bring the dogs, we hang out, we barbecue, and uh, so it's a beautiful thing.
It sounds fantastic. Now, what do you hope to see in the bully breeding community in the next 10 years or so?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. What I hope to see is I hope to see a lot of these people that
Oh,
came in recently
yeah.
looking to make quick money,
Mm,
and I hope to see them phase out. And it's not that I wish upon anybody's
of
downfall,
course.
but I think it's doing a disservice to the breed. There's a lot of dogs that are out there that are selling cheap,
Mm,
which is, the money price point's not the big issue. It's more or less the quality that they're putting out. So are they health testing dogs?
right.
Do they have a specific look or style that they're trying to accomplish, or are they just like blindly breeding dogs, any two dogs that will take?
Right.
And to me, I think that's kind of what people are doing. They're not looking at dogs' behavior. They're not looking at dogs' temperament. They're not. So for me, I take into consideration all of that when I do breeding.
Right.
If I have a dog that has a high drive and another dog with a high drive, I'm going to be probably no matter how they look, I'm going to be a little skeptical of wanting to breed them.
Right.
Um, high high drive can be a great thing for service animals or for weight pulling or anything like that for like pit bull. But for somebody who wants a pet, it makes it very hard because the dog's not going to be a good home body.
Right.
The dog's going to be high drive. It might be aggressive towards other animals or people. If I see anything like that, absolutely, my dog's not going to get bred. So, and there's some people that will overlook those issues to try to make a buck. And so I hope that changes.
Good.
Um, you know, a lot of people will lie to you and say, the market's great, dogs are selling real fast. Right now, I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't care. People can argue the point if they want to, but I will tell you that unless you plan to keep at least half your litter and you have the means to keep half your litter, then you probably shouldn't breed. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of dogs that are going to go to bad homes, or homes that in which they don't deserve to be in, or it just turns out to be a bad situation. So right now, the economy's not good. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Not to get into politics or whatever, we won't get into it, but
Sure.
facts are facts. And so the economy's not great, and so the dogs are not moving are not a mandatory thing. People don't have to have dogs. A puppy is a luxury. So a lot of these people were getting dogs during COVID time because they were lonely and whatnot, and then were trying to abandon their dogs, taking dogs to the pound and just dropping dogs off places. You hear stories like that, and so to me, it really breaks my heart.
Me too.
And so that's why for me, I kind of wish that people would only breed if they really had the means to care for them, and they had planned it out, and you had a game plan about what you were doing, not just breeding dogs to see what happens. Like there's a lot of people that do that, believe it or not.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So for me, it's like I said, this is something that I plan out. If I didn't have the room to keep half of a litter, if for some reason they didn't sell right away, or because there's some people, they panic. They say, "Oh my God, I had 12 pups.
Right.
Now what am I going to do with all these 12? I only have room to keep one. I got to get rid of 11 pups." And so those 11 pups don't sell.
Yeah.
And now they're scrambling just to, hey, well, I can't afford to feed all these dogs. Who's going to care for these dogs? Who's going to pay for all these vet bills?
Oh my God.
So then all of a sudden you have dogs going uncared for, or, a breeder's giving them away to whoever. And, it's bad for the dog. It's bad for the breed.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that changes. I hope people.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't chew on my sweatshirt.
And I so admire you and your passion and what you're doing. Was there anything we didn't touch on today, Jarett, that you were hoping we would talk about?
I think we touched on it all. But you guys are welcome to go to my website. That's why I have a website. It's a little, I want to say it's outdated, but I need to get back on it. Like I said, I've been so overwhelmed lately. But so I have a website, immense Bullz with a Z at the end.com. We're on Instagram. Give us a follow. I'd love to answer any questions. You guys have any questions out there or just want to talk? You know what? Hit me up on my DM. I'd love to talk to you guys.
Yeah, you're awesome. Now, what do you think of Bully Girl magazine?
You know what? I love it. They reached out to me a while back and did an article on my program, and I was very thankful for it. I love the way that it came out.
Oh, good.
If you guys don't have an actual subscription to it, get one.
Awesome.
There's a lot you can learn in there. There's a lot of networking that can be done. There's a lot of kennels that you guys may not have heard about. There's a lot of people that go on Instagram and they pay for fake followers, and there's a lot of smoke and mirrors out there. For me, I don't do that smoke and mirrors. Everything I have is 100% organic. I don't fake the funk. It is what it is, and I try to let my product speak for itself. And people see that my dogs have great temperament. They see they have size. That's where you get the actual name immense. They have substantial amount of size to them.
Yeah.
They have the look that people tend to like. So, but they, like I said, we produce great dogs here, great temperaments, great beautiful colors, and we hope to do bigger and better things coming up in 2024.
Oh, that is awesome, Jarett. Well, I want to encourage everybody, again, subscribe to Bully Girl Magazine, download the Bully Girl mobile app. It's available in the Apple and Google Play stores. Follow at Bully Girl Mag. And if you want to see my good boys, you can follow me at Lisa Davis MPH on TikTok and Instagram. Thank you so much. Keep coming back. Rate, review, subscribe.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.